It is a very, very good time to be a Dallas Mavericks fan right now. And they are playing phenomenal basketball. Winners of now 6 of their last 7, 4-1 on the season without Luka Doncic. The Mavs look phenomenal and look like a team that is very, very prepared to be one of the best squads in basketball. It took a little bit of time to gel, but this roster seems to have really come together recently and are playing just truly exceptional basketball. And before anything else, I just want to say in my last Mavs video, I was hard on Spencer Dinwiddie. He kind of deserves an apology, and I'm going to talk more about Spencer Dinwiddie as this video progresses, but he has played great the last couple of games. And look, Spencer was a huge piece in 2022 in the playoffs, making a run to the conference finals. I love the guy. I just was frustrated at him after the Heat game, but recently he's been really good these last couple of games, and it's been a big X factor in these wins. Impressive win tonight over a fully healthy, fully loaded Knicks team, and they were never really in doubt. Really fast first quarter, elite half on both ends of the court. Kind of put us in control of the game, and we were able to, for the most part, coast from there to a comfortable win tonight against a very, very good New York Knicks team. I'm excited about this roster, and I'm excited to talk more about the Mavs in this video. Before we hop into it, if y'all haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 1,000 subscriber mark on the channel. Trying to get this channel monetized. Really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. So first things first, we got to start with Spencer Dinwiddie, man, because he has played some incredible basketball these last couple games. Tonight was one of the best games I've ever seen him play, in all honesty. Off the bench, 8 of 11, 3 of 5 from 3. Multiple tough shots were hit, 21 points, 9 assists, only 1 turnover. That's been honestly the best thing about Spencer this season so far, in my opinion, is the ability to assist at such a high level without turning the ball over much. I understand he hasn't played a ton of minutes before the last few games, but these last few games, you got 9 assists to 1 turnover, 4 assists to 2 turnovers, but 22 points, 7 assists to no turnovers, 4 assists to no turnovers. It's the type of stuff that you really want to see at a consistent level out of a bench veteran PG, as somebody who's going to manage the game at a high level, not make a ton of mistakes. And look, the shot selection against Miami was bad. And that's really the thing that frustrated me, was some of the shots he took. I get he said he had some grenades, and he kind of did, but there were also a couple shots that he took in that game that were just really ill-advised poor shots, especially with how bad he was shooting it. But these last couple games have been huge for Spencer's confidence offensively. And I think he has been the X factor in these last couple of wins, playing really, really well. But at the end of the day, you got to give credit to this whole roster in general. I mean, the depth that they are playing with is so impressive to this point in the season. Guys like PJ Washington, Najee Marshall, who I kind of made a whole video focusing on in my last Mavs video, have both been phenomenal. Both were really, really good tonight. PJ 3 of 3 from 3, made a couple of corner threes, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, his career high 4th double-double in a row. The dude is just playing amazing basketball, has turned into an incredibly valuable glue guy, and does everything on the court at a high level, in all honesty, especially when he's hitting threes. He's such a capable defender. I think he's really underrated on the defensive end of the court, and he's playing awesome. And let's be totally honest here, I think Najee Marshall might be the most underrated player in the sport. Maybe not for much longer, but he's a guy who was not getting a ton of credit coming in as an offseason addition for the Mavs. Didn't start the season great, but has been incredible these last 4 games, and is just playing such high-level basketball, doing so many important things for this roster as a scorer, playmaker, versatile skill set type of guy, point of attack defender as well. I mean, his defense was key in containing the Knicks tonight. Yes, Jalen Brunson had 37 points, but it was about the least impressive 37-point performance I think I've ever seen, in all honesty. And that's not hating on JB. It's just most of his points kind of came once the game felt like it was mostly out of reach. And I think the Mavs did a really good job of containing him. And not only that, the Karl-Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson pick and roll, really any Knicks pick and roll, just was not as effective as you probably would be used to tonight. Like, you look at the numbers, Mikal Bridges was good, Karl-Anthony Towns was decent, Jalen Brunson on paper statistically was great, but the Mavs did a really good job of neutralizing the Knicks pick and roll, switching almost everything. The point of attack defense of guys like Quentin Grimes and Najee Marshall and their switchability and physicality, also PJ Washington as well, fits into that category, allowed the Mavs to be incredibly impactful, rotate really aggressively, and just play really versatile, switchable, high-level defense in the first half especially, which completely shut down the Knicks and had them having their worst first half of the season offensively. Second half, obviously they scored a lot, but it didn't really matter. The game was out of hand, and the Mavs were in control the entire time. Every time it looked like the Knicks were going to make a run and get right back into the game, somebody had an answer, whether it was Kyrie, whether it was Spencer, whether it was PJ, Najee, or Quentin Grimes. And honestly, Quentin Grimes, I mean, haven't talked about him as much as I have a lot of these other Mavs dudes, but he has been an amazing addition in his own right. A guy who's Also showing surprising amounts of off the dribble ability, not to mention elite level 3-point shooting ability and super good high level versatility on the defensive end of the court. Another really, really huge piece for this team. And that's the thing about this Mavs roster. I think this is the deepest the Mavs have been in my lifetime, in all honesty, except maybe 2011 when they won the title. But even then, it's just not the same level of skill in basketball back then, I would say, as there is now. This is an incredibly deep roster that was able to overcome no Luka, no Clay, no Daniel Gafford. Dante Exum still hasn't played all year and was a huge piece on the Mavs championship or NBA Finals making team last season. And they managed to beat one of the best teams in the East, one of the better teams in basketball in the Knicks, and do it convincingly so. The versatility and depth that this lineup has is incredible. And I think it's the best Mavs roster of my lifetime, top to bottom, to be entirely honest. I just love the amount of different options that we have, the amount of versatility that these lineups have, the ability to go small, the ability to go big, the ability to switch everything if we want to, the different variety of defense that we're able to play, which is why the Mavs are a top 10 defense by nearly every single metric right now. I mean, they're underrated defensively as a team, and offensively, they're great, as any team with Luka and Kyrie is going to be. That does bring me to Luka, though. And I know he hasn't played these last couple of games. Look, I know there are a lot of non-Mavs fans trying to push the agenda, maybe even some Mavs fans who aren't the biggest Luka fans, trying to push the agenda that the Mavs might be better off without Luka. That is absolutely not true. No chance whatsoever. And I will say the Luka narratives are a little bit overblown in their own right. I mean, he has the lowest usage rate of his career, and I know the clutch performance by him has not been great. At least it wasn't in the early point of the season. But since that Jazz loss again, the Mavs have won 6 of their last 7, are playing really, really good basketball. And look, I like the fact that Luka's gotten a chance to rest and the Mavs now have a deep enough roster to not only weather the storm, but continue to play well and continue to win games. Their only loss since Luka went out was that game against the Heat that they very easily could have won, but unfortunately shots didn't fall, especially for Dinwiddie. And it was one of those games they lost in overtime, but probably realistically should have won in regulation. And that's the only loss they've had in their last 7 games. A team that is just playing really cohesive, really high level basketball. I do hope Luka is watching the success of the Mavs these last few games and is continuing to adjust and decide ways that he can be a little bit different offensively this year, not quite as ball dominant. And yes, the usage rate is down. I think it will continue to be. And I hope that the ball continues to move and the versatility of the offense continues to shine, because the amount of different skill sets on this team and the amount of different talented players, whether it be wings like Najee and PJ, guard combo defensive guys like Quentin Grimes and Klay Thompson, who admittedly, I know he's had some rough games, but he's been better defensively than I anticipated. And I think he's been pretty solid. And then you got the duo of Gafford and Lively at center, and Luka, Kyrie, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jaden Hardy off the bench. Maxi Kleber still a solid veteran guy. Lot to like about this Mavs roster. A lot of depth, a lot of talent, and a team that is playing really, really high level basketball. And then you got to look at the Western Conference playoff standings. And look, they're only a game back of the 4 seed, a game and a half back of the 3 seed. After a slow start to the season, they've won, again, like I said, 6 of their last 7 and are playing really, really high level basketball. And the other beautiful thing about the Mavs is that their schedule is pretty easy in the near future, which is not something you can say about a lot of these other top Western Conference teams. Teams like the Warriors and the Timberwolves have hell schedules to go through in the next few weeks. Whereas the Mavs get Utah, Portland, Memphis, Washington, Toronto, the Clippers twice, Portland again, Minnesota, who has not looked great on Christmas, Phoenix, Portland, Sacramento, Houston's very good, Cleveland's very good, Memphis, Los Angeles, Portland. Like, I get there's some good teams scattered in there for sure, but for the next month plus, really month and a half for the Mavs, it's a relatively easy schedule for the most part. And that gives them a real opportunity to make serious headway in the Western Conference playoffs. I mean, 11-8 right now, but again, like I said, only a game out of home court advantage right now in the West, and looking very, very seriously like one of the best teams in basketball over these last couple of weeks. And it's very exciting as a Mavs fan. I hope it continues. I hope that Luka coming back continues to elevate this roster and it doesn't become a little more stagnant, because again, that's my biggest concern. But I think I think the Luka haters are not going to get what they want with this Mavs team this season. Let's just put it that way. Really good team, really fun to watch. And I love the depth. I love the overall talent, and I love the versatility of this team on a night-to-night basis, offensively and defensively. Just so many different ways to score, so many different guys they can play through, so many different options defensively and in terms of rotations and things like that. I love this team, and I'm having a blast watching them this year. It's going to be a fun season of Dallas Mavericks basketball. Hope y'all did enjoy this video. If y'all did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I'll be back on more NBA content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.